Hey guys, day 15 of my 50 days of live. Good to see you guys. I just have to share actually I have two testimonies to share. The first one, just a little mini one, is just such an example of the goodness of God and how he plans ahead. And hey Chris, good to see you. So yesterday I shared, I was getting home from work and unpacking my groceries, and I dropped my laptop and broke it. So the mouse pad, the little keypad doesn't work. So it's this is so frustrating, and go figure, in this season, God is having me break through in technology and media. And, so the thing that gets poked is my computer. But anyway, so I went to my sister's who lives across town, and she lent me one of her corded mouse, because I didn't have one. And so with that, I could use the computer. But then I went over to my mom's house for dinner today. It's her birthday this week, so I just want to spend the afternoon with her. And she looked through her stuff, and she had this, brand new, still in the package, Logitech, completely brand new mouse. And she says she's probably bought it 5 or 6 years ago, I think at Costco. And she just had it at her house sitting on her shelf, and says oh God, you're so good. Just giving me, what I need. So I'll probably have to get a new laptop, but for now I can manage. So that's one cool testimony. So the other testimony, we'll say it has to do with my natural health business. And when I talk about my natural health business, and share some testimonies with that, there's certain language that I'm not allowed to, to use. So I have to be very covert in the things, in the way that I say things, because, there are just these organizations like the FDA, and they make certain rules and restrictions, and there's certain censorship and things that we're not allowed to say. And so, we try and follow the rules, but not really. I got that. I mean, I do, but it's just one of those things, guys, sometimes you gotta push the limits a little bit. So I'm gonna share the testimony, but I won't tell you what the natural product is that goes with the testimony. If you're interested in hearing what it is, just send me a message and I will share it that way, because I'm not allowed to say it on social media. So I've got 26 nieces and nephews. We've never had autism in our family until recently. My youngest niece was diagnosed. She's 2.5 years old, and she was diagnosed with autism, and she wasn't developing in her speech, and just lots of markers, and was not even trying to say words, just kind of shrieking and just making sounds. So I had heard there was a certain natural substance, the leaves of the tree are for healing, certain substances created in nature. And I had heard testimonies years ago about people using this certain thing on pre-verbal children that were having delayed speech development, and several testimonies that I had heard about using this specific these specific natural ingredients, and actually children that were having delayed speech started to, become verbal and started to speak. So I just said to my sister, you know what, I just want to give you, we'll use discernment to figure out what Jenny is saying and not saying. This is the game that I'm going to play, because I don't like how Big Pharma is running the show. And actually, I'll get back to my story, but, I even had a dream about this. God is dealing with Big Pharma. God is dealing with what is going on behind the scenes. And so this is really a time for us to wake up and learn these natural things that are going to serve us. So anyway, back to the pre-verbal children having delayed speech and difficulty talking. So, I just said to my sister, I said, you know what, let me give you this, you don't have to pay me for it. It's actually something that's quite expensive. And I said, you know what, I have this, I know you aren't necessarily into natural, but it can't hurt to try. So why don't you just try this on your daughter? And so I gave it to her at Christmas, and she started using it as I suggested on her child. And within 4 days of her using this thing on her child, which you have to send me a message if you want to know what it is, her daughter started trying to pronounce words. She had never tried to make sounds or say words before. And within 4 days of using this unknown natural substance, she started to she was listening to songs on the TV and listening to music, and she started to try and mimic and make sounds and go like shh, shh, like these noises that she had never tried to make before, and she's starting to try and say words. And so I'm like, I hear these incredible testimonies, and actually I was just with my mom and she reminded me of it. And she's like, oh, did your sister tell you about this, And I was like, yeah, she did. I was in tears when she told me. My mom's like, yeah, I was just so overwhelmed, just so happy. And, it just reminded me, it's this balance between because I'm not supposed to share testimonies like this, but it's this tension between I can't make any sickness or disease claims or anything like that. But all I can say is that I heard of other people's testimonies and breakthroughs that they got using these natural things. And I was like, well, I know someone in my family. I'm going to serve them by having them, experiment and try themselves. And so, you could say, oh, it's just a coincidence. It just happened. She was ready to start saying words. She was going to say words 4 days after you gave it to her anyway. Who knows, But it's there's just too many testimonies to discount it. So this is my passion. And this is why you're going to hear me talk about essential oils more and more. I won't say which ones, and other natural health things, because there are powerful things that God has created in nature that can help us to, to support and restore and heal. And, why did the wise men bring frankincense and myrrh to the baby Jesus? Hi, Mom. Marlene Megalaj Aitchison is my mother, and she never tunes in when I'm live. And I was just talking about her. So she probably knew that I was talking about her, because we have this, thing. My mom doesn't know that she's actually more prophetic than she realizes, because I'll be thinking about her at home, and then she'll text me and she'll be like, hey, you want to come over for dinner? When meanwhile I was just thinking about her. So you know what, we should test this again, because my mom's on right now, which is making me feel kind of and she's never been on, and I was just talking about her. So, there we go. Another sign about my prophetic gifting, but it's just God has created these incredible things. And so frankincense and myrrh and other incredible healing things in nature, the leaves of the tree are for healing. And, God's really been speaking to me a lot about, I need to get up some prophetic words ready to organize and publish, because there's just so much going on. But there's something about this, I'll just say this 6 months period, this 6 month time period that we're in. The last 4 years, 5 years, actually, the last 5 years, there's been so much delay. And there is this sense of urgency on this 6 month period that we're in right now, January into June. There is this sense of urgency to get ourselves rightly positioned. So it's we need to get ourselves in a position, and I'm actually talking about entrepreneurially, setting us up. I keep going back to the widow who had to get the jars to collect the oil, the wealth transfer, supernatural debt cancellation through what God has put in our hands to create wealth. There has been so much delay, so much discouragement, so much frustration, but God is saying we need to cast our nets again, and we need to step out. And there's also, he's also been talking to me some about this, this double portion, and this is the season of stepping into the double portion, and it's connected to entrepreneurship. But he also showed me that there is this war against the double. So God is really wanting to doubly bless us. It's like the time, like the double for your trouble. And so even in this realm of entrepreneurship, I keep saying we all need to have a business. I actually want to submit to you that we all need to not just have one business, but we need to have at least two. And this is the thing of the double. And it's like in Canada, we got this smallness thing, this like be small, be reasonable, but it's this, we need to kind of be a little bit more like ambitious, like some of the, like the American mindset where it's like, go after it. The sky's the limit, and here in Canada, it's like, no, be small, like push down. Like we need to go after it. So this 6 months, and it's like in this window of time, we need to position ourselves. So he showed me there's 6 months that is needed to get ready, to be prepared, to be able to receive and have things figured out and aligned, to have our jars, to have those jars that are going to be able to receive the oil and receive whatever it is that God is pouring out as a resource. Because after the 6 months, there is going to be a 2-year period of like, I saw it like a travel, like a development and a growing and strengthening, but it's like in this 6 months, there's like a window, there's a sweet spot, and it's like, it's time to start. This is time to start new things. It's time to start new initiatives. It's time to step back into the things that you may have tried before and you didn't think worked. And I just hear the Lord is just like encouraging you and saying like the last 5 years, even though there has been delay and it seemed like there was frustration and failure, he says, I allowed you to be dismantled, but now I am remantling you, and you are stronger than you have ever been, and you are ready. You are ready, you are ready, but it's not just one, it's two. And I just really, he's wanting the double portion. We're transitioning from the Elijah to the Elishas. Elijah was a little bit of a more like the superstar Lone Ranger kind of prophet, and he had to learn to become a father to Elisha, and Elisha learned, he came in as a spiritual son and served, but we're in that position where the Elijah's been removed out of the way and the mantle has been transferred to the Elisha generation. So the Elisha was a son who knew, he asked for the double portion. He wasn't just being greedy. He knew that the double portion was the portion that was given to the firstborn child. And so Elisha, Elijah doesn't talk about him having natural children, but Elisha came and was his firstborn son. And so we got that double portion. So this is the double. It's time for the double. It's time for two. It's time to believe that you can have and do and be more. It's time to lift off our limited thinking and to step out. And for me, the two is the prophetic and it's natural health. I'm not even counting my ultrasound job, because that's not entrepreneurship. That is just the stable thing that I'm still doing. God bless my ultrasound job, but it's the shifting, and it's the two. So it's not like, I hear this, like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And there's something about diversifying and really like, okay, God, what have you put in my hands to create wealth? What have you put in my hands to create wealth? What have you put in my hands to create wealth? Guys, but it's two. And I just keep, just keep having this confirmed to me always, and it's like, it's like, we talk about what we're releasing as like things that we're birthing in the spirit. Sometimes it's hard for me to translate the way that God shows me things, because then I would go on a long rabbit trail and tell you all the like breakdowns and signs and pieces of like how I come across this revelation and the dreams and everything. But it's like, it's like you're a mother carrying twins in her womb, whether you're a man or a woman. It's like what God is birthing in your spirit. He has not said this is a singleton. He says this is the time for the birthing of the twins. This is the time for fruitfulness. This is the time for two, not just one. But I saw a war. There is a war against the double. And I just almost like as a prophetic act, like let's put our hands on our belly. And we should just call forth, we just speak life into that which is gestating on the inside of us. What is the war? What is the war against the double? What is the war against the twins, the fruitfulness? It's small-mindedness. It's small-mindedness, and it's this thought of like just having enough, just getting by. No, this is the time for abundance. This is the time for stepping in. This is the time to get ready to go. And if any of you guys who are listening to me chat about this, and I'm also shared that testimony about natural things. And if you are interested at all in just having a discussion about what it would look like to start a business with, an incredible legacy company like doTERRA, and let me tell you about doTERRA. I know there's this whole debate. People think one company is better or this one. doTERRA is the best and purest essential oil company out there. That is out there, beyond what they do, and on a scale, they do it on a scale with clinical trials and testing of the oils to ensure that there is absolutely no synthetics. It's completely safe and pure. They do it on a level that no other company out there is large enough and has the resources to be able to go the lengths and the extents that they do. And there's a lot of network marketing businesses out there and companies that, there's certain companies that I know people who've been in them, and they have some makeup or workout companies, different network marketing. There's a list of them, and people have poured themselves into it. They've built their businesses, they've got their customers, they've given their life, and then the company has just completely turned and chosen to go a different way and say, actually, we're not using the direct sales model anymore. And so the business that you have built, we're not going to continue to pay you the commissions, as you had expected, you would be able to get for decades to come. But doTERRA is a legacy company, and they are debt-free, not publicly traded, so they can't be bought and they can't be manipulated. And they are committed to maintaining this model where people who promote and educate and serve using their product can actually make, whether you want an extra $500 a month or you want to multiply and replace your income, these things are all possible. And so if that is you, send me a DM and I will definitely set up a time where we could hop on Zoom and have a conversation, because this is God has been giving me dreams about, it's time to go back in. It's time to go back in. It's time to go more intentionally, because this 6-month window is so strategic for setting us up. And it was the way that I saw it in my dream, it was this 6 months, if we needed to do in this 6 months certain things, because then it would be followed by a 2-year period. And then something incredible is going to happen in the kingdom. But if we don't get ourselves rightly aligned in this 6 month, we're not going to be able to travel through the next 2-year period and make it to the place that we need to be. And God is wanting to set us free from a lot of things. He wants to, create us, to bring us to places where we are actually, we're out of this place of poverty. We're out of this place of survival, just getting by, needing handouts, needing government assistance, and actually getting us into a place where we're thriving. And we are like Josephs in our nation, who actually have the resources and the wisdom and the ability to help and to sustain others in times of, of challenge and difficulty. Yeah, so this is the time. So if you haven't started your one business, start your one. If you've got one, start the second. And actually just really ask these questions, because it's all about God is giving you the power to create wealth. So what has God put in your hand? What are the talents, the abilities? Are your talents still buried in the ground where nobody can see them? Or are you using them to multiply? Are you using them to advance his kingdom, and, even for myself, my natural health business aside, God has given me a prophetic gift, and he's given me a passion for ministry and for training people in the prophetic. And, he's given me an ability to take these skills and to be able to earn some income through equipping, running my mentorship program, running an emerging prophet school, and also prophetic consulting, and so this is really, there is such a grace to step into entrepreneurship in this season. There really is. And I see some of you guys on here, who already have your own business, who have stepped in and, start dreaming with God. Dream with God and ask him, God, how have you created me? How is it that what value do you have to offer the world? What is your message? What is your passion? What is your belief? What gets you really excited? What makes you, what gets you excited? What kind of topic or message that you could share with the world? And is there something practically that you can actually marry with that? I love doTERRA because emerging prophets, it's all about get healthy so you can get heard. And so this has been my, testimony with being in emerging prophets, is just about, really going to the next level in health and emotional health, spiritual health, and just like developing and going to the next level. But then it's not just spiritual health and emotional health. There's also physical health, because you can be super spiritually and emotionally healthy, but your body is dying and your body is being poisoned by the toxins and the things that are in the environment and the things that we could be exposing our bodies to carelessly every single day, and so if we, so to get healthier, it's about like, okay, let's shift to some natural things. Let's get these poisons out of our life. Let's start using even things like, like personal hygiene products, like shampoos and deodorant and toothpaste and all these things, like using natural ingredients that are going to serve us and not cause side effects and unwanted things in our body. And, God he's shifting things. He is shifting things. And, pharmakia is going to be dealt with. The Bible talks about the sorcery of the age and Revelation, and the word for the sorcery of the age is actually pharmakia. And, so I'm not going to make a blanket statement, because there are definitely some things that we can benefit from. And, I had cancer. I was super grateful that I had like anesthetic and pain meds, like when I had to have my surgery and have my cancer removed, and so I'm not totally anti anything, but it's like the more we can use natural things that are not going to harm our body, the better. And to go to, to the things that are created in nature, so that they're actually created in such a way that they have a synergistic effect in our body. And so, because we want to be strong, like, we want to be strong and healthy and be able to see the fulfillment of the prophetic words that God has given us for our life. Yeah. Who doesn't want to be strong? We don't want to be done at 70. We don't want to be done at 65. We want to keep going. Like, it's amazing. I see, even in my job as an ultrasound technologist, like, I see people who are my age, and I'm like, wow, like they look awful. Like they look just like, I can't believe, like they're so unhealthy and so like have so many health conditions, and they're just, I won't give detailed explanations, but it's like, I'll see people and think like, how can you be my age and look like that and feel like that and have so many things wrong with you? But then I'll see other people and I'm like, you're 90? And I'll ask them and be like, what is your secret? Like, or 88-year-olds, like often the patients that I see that are like 88, 90, 94, like those ones are often in better shape and condition than some of the ones that I see that are 65, 70, with just so many medications and disabilities and all that, because it's incredible to see, like, God has created us so that our bodies can heal and restore, when they're given the right things and able to, take care of themselves. So this is clearly my passion. I have a lot of passions, but yeah, just, send a message to me if you are interested in connecting any more, learning anything about doTERRA essential oils, or even just, one of the biggest things that we do is we provide people with natural whole foods sourced supplements, because, we can't get the food and nutrients out of our food this day that we actually need to thrive. Our food is so incredibly depleted with GMOs and then pesticides and nutrient depletion in the soil. Like, we do not get out of our food the nutrients that even our grandparents would have gotten out of the food like 50, 60, 70 years ago. Like, it's just, we cannot get the nutrients that we need to thrive simply from eating, just eating food like that we would get at the grocery store. And so most people accept the fact that we do need to supplement. The supplements is a huge market, but most of the supplements out there, you buy those little pills and they, one a day, or pill that says like, yeah, just take this one and it's hard as a rock, and they claim that it has everything that you need. And it's like those things generally just go right through us, right through your plumbing, and end up in the sewer system, because they're hard as a rock. They're not in a form that's bioavailable, and they don't break down, and your body isn't able to use them. So we need to get like natural whole foods based supplements and, antioxidants. And there's essential oils that are really powerful antioxidants as well, like clove essential oil, frankincense, things like that. Yeah. So Elaine, I'm just seeing your message that you totally like to learn more about doTERRA. Can you send me, just send me a little private message? Because I do like to go through these comments, but sometimes comments get lost in the news feed, especially when I'm doing 50 days of Facebook Live and constantly on here. Okay, hello. I want to say hello to a bunch of you guys. Irene Grekoff from Alaska, Elaine Shepstone from Barrie, Crystal Lee, Alicia Coulter, Gloria Narija, Debbie Furlong, Debbie and Guy Furlong. Not sure which one of you it is. Chris Sheard, Justina Empringham, Diane Wallace. Good to see you guys. Dwayne Clugston. Yeah, Dwayne is real estate agent. He's an entrepreneur. Justina, I know Justine and Glenn, you guys have your own business doing like, I think, water filtration systems or something like that. Juliet Clark, good to see you. Jean, Babel. All right, guys. If I haven't, giving you a shout out. Hello, Diane Hogan. Oh, we got double Diane. That just, sorry, I got to get a little more comfortable. Double Diane, that just like confirms what I was talking about with the double portion, because it's time for the double. It's time for the double. All right, I'm going to prophesy over Irene. Irene. I mean, I may not have been triggered because you said doTERRA is amazing. I do appreciate that. Good publicity, Irene already uses essential oil. She's not one of my customers, so. But yeah, Irene. Yeah. Sometimes God gives me these pictures and it just takes me a second to figure out what he's saying. Oh, Irene. I just hear the Lord saying that he's changing the chemistry. And he's going to show you how to change the chemistry. And I see you like working with him in some like very fine detailed, some really fine detailed things. And I actually see you like experimenting with him, and I see him giving you some recipes for success, so to speak. And it's like, I just see like these slight little adjustments in these things that he's going to show you. It's like he's going to show you like what the ingredients are that you need, and how to just like, take the right amount of this and the right amount of this and mix it. Like, it's like I see you, it's like he's adjusting, the amount of, whether it's love love, there's the tough love, there's the wisdom, there's the truth. And it's like, I just see him actually just adjusting and helping you to like really just, I just see all these things like just coming into such balance, and you in this season knowing how to flow out. And it's like this new confidence that you have, Irene. And so it's like you're flowing out, and it's like the chemistry of heaven is what I'm seeing. And it's like you just have this new ability to know how much with certain people, how to, where to draw the boundary, where to give more, where to hold back, where to give wisdom, where to just like listen and be the empathetic ear, and where, and I think maybe in the past season, it's been kind of a question of like, oh, like which side of myself, do I give? How do I respond to certain situations? But it's like now I see you just really settling into this like ease, and just this real ease where it's like you just are so connected, and you're just so hearing from heaven, and you're just knowing, okay, this is how, this is how I need to respond and react to this person. And then he'll actually give you different strategies for another individual. And so it's this ability to, it's almost like he's removing the sense of like, oh, it needs to be fair and it needs to be consistent, like where there's that feeling like you got to like treat everybody the same. And it's actually this new adaptability that he's giving you, where you can more like go with the flow and the ebbs of the spirit, but without a sense of guilt, because, you're giving more to this one and less to this one. And I just really feel like you're going to feel that, like there's going to be ones, and it's like your heart, I just hear this, like, trust your heart. Like your heart is so good. And it's like, you'll know there will be a grace. It's like you have this incredible grace, and there's ones that you'll just love, 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 and you'll just pour so lavishly out on them. But then there's other ones where, in the past you might have felt like, oh, it needs to be equal and I need to love them all the same. But I just see like you're going to feel like the grace in your heart has kind of shifted. And it's like you have this like internal boundary now, like, okay, I only, with this one I can go here, but with this one, I just go this far. And so I just see an ease, and you just really settling in and just being confident that you are really carrying the heart of the Father and just representing him well. And it's just a different way. There's different ways that you're going to be interacting with people in this season. And it's going to make, I see it like really, there's some relationships and connections that are meant to be there, but they feel like they're not quite like working the way that like in full strength. And so he's going to help you to adjust so that these ones, that it comes up higher, and those connections become stronger and more committed and like more loyal and just like more love and in that. But then there's other ones where it's like, it's almost like they kind of need to drop off a little bit. And so you're going to feel the like pulling back of, you're kind of feeling the pulling back. There's almost like an internal unwillingness to give more, to pour out more. And I just hear the Lord say, you have poured out enough. You have poured out enough. And it's like he's giving you permission to really protect and to hold your reserves to so that you're only pouring, you're like this container, and you're filled with like that living water, the oil of intimacy, the oil of heaven, all this. But it's like he only wants you to reserve your reserves for the right people who are gonna be able to contain it. And it's like, like you wouldn't want to pour into buckets that have holes in them. That's kind of the picture that I got for you. So yeah, so be okay with saying no in this season, and be okay with not always giving full 100%, because sometimes I think really that's part of like, it's really like you're really valuing yourself at a higher level and valuing like the virtue that you have. And it's that thing of like not wanting to cast your pearls before the wrong people. So yeah, I just bless you as God is helping you to adjust and make these fine tunes in relationships that are going to be life to you. Yeah, Josie, you're right. We all need to learn when to say no. We all need to learn when to say no, and it's not easy. but we don't want to be people pleasers. And, I've had to learn how to say no because, I'm a limited person with limited capacity. And, I really realized that like, if we say if we say yes to things too quickly, or we say yes, because your yes to something is a potential no to something else. And so sometimes when you have that check in your spirit, you might not know why. You might not know why you just don't feel like you should give your yes. But sometimes there's that pressure to, because we want to please. If there's that people pleasing kind of like, if you get an invitation, but sometimes you just feel like, oh, maybe I'm not supposed to, but to follow those unctions of the Holy Spirit. And, because he won't lead you wrong. Yeah. Yeah. And, sometimes we will say yes to things that are good, but the yes to something that is good can get into the way of a yes to something that is best. And so the enemy of what is best can be actually those very things that are actually good. And so, we want the best. We want the best that he has for us. Yeah. Yeah, Gloria, you're learning. You've had to learn how to say no and still learning. Yeah. And sometimes it's like easy to say no in certain scenarios and not so easy in other scenarios. And then sometimes, we just have to check our heart and be like, oh, is there a little bit of people pleasing? Because sometimes, if we want to impress someone, then we really want to say yes to them. Or maybe do you have FOMO, like fear of missing out? I used to have that. I get that less often now. But I just used to feel like, oh, I just wanted to be at everything and say yes to everything and go to every meeting because I like didn't want to miss out. And, but that's not the season. Like that's not the season that I'm in. And so often people say like, oh, there's a conference here, or, oh, you should go there, or this person's visiting. And I just have to like check with Holy Spirit. And usually I get a pretty clear sense, or he's really good at sending me incredible signs. Like, when I'm contemplating going to New Jersey, and then he sends me a patient who tells me that she would have named her son Jersey. And I'm like, all right, well, there's my sign. He does stuff like that, But yeah, it's really about valuing ourselves, our time, our energy, our virtue, and all of this is also connected to the poverty spirit. When we don't value ourselves, and, it's connected to that sense of poverty. And along with what I was talking about, entrepreneurship and the need to push out for the double, it really is connected back to getting the poverty off of us and getting into this place of inheritance, in this place of abundance. And that double portion is about like knowing like, okay, hey, we have that portion. We're not orphans. We are sons and daughters. We are, and we have an inheritance. And so just, and that's abundance, knowing who our dad is and that we have access to all the storehouses of heaven, and that if there is a need that we have, that he will definitely come through for us. All right, I'm just doing a quick little scroll here and see if there is another person who is highlighted to me. Clara, I think you just hopped on. Clara, you're highlighted. Yeah, Clara, it's such a season for you of new weapons of warfare. And I just see like, I see the Lord giving you like a whole new arsenal of like weapons to fight with. And it's like, you'd become this like expert. I almost see you like an expert swordsman kind of, where it's like you have really learned to wield the sword, like the sword of the Spirit, with skill and with grace and with precision. And like God trusts you so much. And it's like you have like really fine-tuned and you've really fine-tuned your craft, so to speak. And I just see your carefulness and your intentionality. And it's like because of your faithfulness and your diligence in and the strategies of like warfare and the weapons from the last season, it's it's like this upgrade that he's giving you, and now it's like he's just giving you this whole thing. Like I just see all different kinds of like weapons, like bow and arrows and bazookas and grenades and like all kinds of weapons of warfare. And I just see that he's really like, it's like he's expanding your repertoire and he's giving you new tools and new ways. And I just feel like there's something about like routine and like the routine and the consistent way of approaching thing, and like the methodical way of doing things. I feel like he's actually kind of like breaking some of that off, even though it was like your skill and strength and superpower in like one season. And it's not that it's a weakness now, but he's just is actually giving you a different way forward. And I see so much freedom in it. And it's just such a time of like exploration. And it's like, it's this new level of authority that you're stepping into. And because you have this new level of authority, you have access to different ways of engaging. And so I just see you like, it's like you don't have to go into hand-to-hand combat anymore, but it's just like you can pull out your glory grenade and you can just, for one battle, you can throw that. For another, you're going to pull out your bow and arrows. But it's like, I just see you as being someone who you just have this, like, it's like you're so intuitive and you're going to so intuitively know exactly what is called, for the season. But it's almost this sense of like, you can't get it wrong. Like, I just have this sense of like, you just can't get it wrong. And yes, the glory grenades, like, and I just see like, it's almost like you could use anything. It's almost like you could go to war, but it's just like you could go to war with like a Q-tip, like, or a toothpick. Like, it's almost like it doesn't even matter. Like, you're just so on the winning side. And I just see you, there's just this creativity, and it's like this ability to take anything that God would put in your hand. And I just see you're also going to be able to train other people in weapons of war and be able to, I think this is part of the reason why he's giving you so many different weapons of war that you're needing to use, because you're actually going to be able to, like, it's part of the way that you're going to equip people, and you're going to be able to like give individual people different ways, different weapons that they're going to need to fight the battles that they find themselves facing. And so for all the like different people in your life and the different circumstances, it's like you're going to know, like, for the person's strengths and their individual like personality and what they're facing exactly, you're going to be able to give them precise strategies for what they need to. And I'm actually reminded of some of the strategies are going to involve even like prophetic acts. And I'm reminded of the king that struck the ground with the arrows. And it's like, I see you like giving that kind of like instruction, where I think it was Elisha who said like, to the king, like, okay, strike the ground, and he only struck it 3 times. But it's like, I can see you like releasing that kind of level of strategy, like, this is what you need to go the next level. Yeah. Because you have a breaker and you are called to break other people through. And so I just see God really sending you, and you really just like ripping things open in the spirit realm and going through. It's like I see you going through like a veil. It's like, but it's like into the promised land. It's like into the place of inheritance. And you're kind of like one of the Caleb and Joshua, like the spy that went in and scouted out the land. And it's like, I see you going out. I see you scouting out. I see you entering in beyond the veil and into places. And I see you really carrying this victorious eschatology message to this generation and really shifting. I see there's some religious minded people in your life who just, they've grown up with certain mindsets of how this thing is going to all play out. But God is really bringing you into a more victorious place, and I see you really going in and seeing the things to come and being able to, really help to instill hope, like be this ambassador of hope and give people strength and courage that is going to help them to take these weapons of warfare that you're training them in and to advance, because it's in this place of like, we cannot lose. Like, it's this sense like where you're like leading the charge, Clara, and you're taking them across, and they're going into the enemy territory, but there's this boldness and courage where it's like, we can't lose. The end is written and we won. So yeah, you are such a warrior, Clara. You're such a warrior, and you're called to be a general. You've learned the lessons of submission in your days of beginning. You have come under the mission of other people, and the Lord trusts you, and he is going to give you your own, like the passion and the vision of your heart. You're going to see the fulfillment of it, because you really are a woman of honor. You've learned how to come alongside. You've learned how to come under. You've learned how to serve even in places where the vision wasn't perfectly in line with yours, but you really came and you served and you gave yourself and you blessed what others were doing. And now the Lord says, I have promoted you. You are at a new level of authority, and you get to lead the charge in this season. So I bless you, Clara. Yeah, bless you. Bless you, powerful woman of God. All right, guys, this has been really fun. It's been a little intense. I enjoy this. So day 15, only 35 more days to go. And tomorrow I will be on at 7 p.m. with the lovely Sonia Marks, who is the Emerging Prophets Australia school director. And I see we have Will on here. Will, I watched the replay of our call, and I realized I said that you were the Emerging Prophets Ontario school director. I got that wrong, guys. So anyway, Will is in Oregon and I am in Ontario, in case you were confused. But join us tomorrow, 7 p.m. my time. It'll be Monday at 10 a.m. for Sonia in Australia. So she will be coming to us from the future, over on the other side of the world. And her Monday morning, our Sunday evening. So we'll love to see you guys again. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. Love you guys. You guys are amazing. Thanks for tracking with me. It's so much more fun to be on here with people than talking to myself. So have a great night.